Hello and welcome to another Bitcoin technical analysis video. Today is Friday, July 30th, 2021, and I'm super stoked to go through our 5 different indicators on all the different time frames for Bitcoin so that we get a sense of what's going to go on in the short term and what might be happening in the long-term trends of Bitcoin, which are kind of mind-blowing. Now, the thing that makes this channel different than most of the others is that we give away more free training than people have in their paid services. All you have to do is head over to Introtocryptos.ca, scroll down just a bit, put your email address in, and you'll get access to the free 27-minute webinar that explains our entire trading system. Plus, you get a 30-page study guide to go along with it. I give this stuff away so that you trust the system that we're using here, so that you have tools in your hand that you can actually use and start to make money off of. You may wonder, what are other people saying about us? Well, this webinar is the best thing I've done since the beginning of this endeavor. I probably lost all my seed money, but now I wouldn't have if I had watched that. It's the easiest to understand tutorial on this whole spectrum of trading that I've come across. Another guy says, what makes this channel so genuine is that you don't overhype the coins, you just trade what you see. What makes us more focused, and the bull market watch is worth more than its weight in gold. Another guy says, mind blown, thanks. The first sub was to get an understanding of the simple trading plan, but this takes it to another level. Another guy says, the most genuine aspect about you is that other YouTubers want you to believe them no matter what so they can take your money for the VIP signals. You, on the other hand, provide the knowledge for free because I want the viewers to learn. We do have a paid service, but it's the bull market watch that takes care of a bunch of the trading work for you. Once you understand the plan, you'll see how much this spreadsheet takes care of for you. It's updated every single day, and it shows you which coins are coming up to our trading signals, which ones have just taken on our trading signal, and which ones are neutral that you should not be holding right now, watching them for the setups to come. And it's a really simple visual trading approach that gives you yellow shows that it's an alert status. Our trading pattern is coming up. Green means you should be holding it. Blue and black mean it's a cold fish and an exit. So it tells you exactly when to get in and when to get out of these coins. It's fantastic. Here's another guy says, I gotta hand it to you, Doug. The video on the course looking at the bull market watch case studies is quite incredible. The amount of data in there is superb. You can watch it over and over again. So you get a summary that shows you all of the coins that are in alert status, which coins are in hold status, which ones are exiting so that you get in and out of the trades. Now, before I go on to Bitcoin, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. And we can see that as Bitcoin dominance is dropping, that means that the altcoins are rising in US dollar faster than Bitcoin is. This is a good time to have your money in altcoins when the Bitcoin dominance is dropping. And if we go over to the bull market watch spreadsheet, we can see here a detail that shows us, let's go to Binance, how many coins are in hold stance in February, all the way through April. And then here in May, we can see that we're dropping out of coins. Our system is getting us out of coins. We're only holding 40 of the very best coins now, where we were holding 216 just a short time before. And it really corresponds exactly to the timing we see here, May 18th. Bitcoin dominance was finished going down and it started to go up. That means that the altcoins are losing value versus Bitcoin, and it's time to put your money back into Bitcoin. So our bull market watch really shows you exactly when to get in and when to get out of the altcoins. We do have a special on right now. We're holding last year's prices still, where you can save $180 on the annual fee. If it's $9.95 a month to cover 270 different cryptos with new signals every single day. You won't find this anywhere else. I know this is way underpriced, and we're definitely going to be raising the price on this. So if this is something that you're interested in, jump in, lock into this price. It'll be grandfathered in so that you'll always get the same low price. And when the price goes up, you'll be with this original price now. Before we get into the indicators, I want to start off with this monthly chart that is really blowing my mind once I started paying attention to it. We can see here that we have what's called a hammer reversal candle 2 months in a row. We've only seen this twice before in the history, and we saw a hammer reversal candle here just before a major uptrend. and we saw a big monthly hammer reversal candle here and here just before a major uptrend. We can see that we had another on the pullback here as the trend continued to go up. These hammer reversals are massively important, and I think that we are just on the cusp of another really big move up. So let's take a look at the logarithmic view of the chart and make some just basic predictions out of this. What I want to do is draw in a parallel channel, and then I want to use another tool to take a piece of the chart from here to here where we had the last monthly hammer reversal candle, and then let's move that over and see where it leaves us as a prediction. If this is the hammer reversal candle that we're on right now, it could be that Bitcoin is going to be taking off into a major uptrend from here. If we were to take this hammer reversal candle and this trend and then overlay that onto the chart, it may be a slower climb that we go up, but for the next few years, we could be passing 100,000, 200,000, up to over $1 million per Bitcoin, just staying inside this parallel channel that we've already set up before. Phenomenal potentials going on in Bitcoin. Now let's zoom in on the charts and see what's going on in today's prices. Starting off with the relative strength index, we can see that on the monthly time frame, the RSI stayed on an uptrend all the way through until we topped out past $20,000. Now we have the monthly RSI on an uptrend again, and we just don't know where it's going to go. But with these hammer reversal candles, what we'll be watching for in the monthly relative strength index is that we keep staying above these levels and making a trend up to these levels again. If the RSI breaks down below these levels, then it's going to be an important time for us to pay attention that prices are not going to be continuing on this trend. So we'll have two different things to be watching for as this sets up. Now, on the weekly time frame, we can see that if I put in a horizontal line here, the relative strength index is bearish if it breaks down below this line on the weekly time frame. So we really want to see that the weekly time frame of the RSI now stays on an uptrend like we had here, an uptrend like we had here, an uptrend from this point in order for this to continue on and give us a really good trend. There's a couple different things that we can watch for here. The daily time frame oscillates a little bit more. As we're in the uptrend, it'll top out and pull back, top out and pull back, top out and pull back. But the important thing is that it does not go below this line. All the way through, when it breaks below that line, that's when we're getting a super pullback. If we stay above this line and we're working our way up, then we are still in the uptrend. So I would imagine, for my own thinking, that Bitcoin's done a pretty good move here. We're up to really important support and resistance levels all the way along there through the past. Now, it wouldn't be crazy if this was to pull back a little bit and that the RSI comes all the way back to this line and then bottoms and starts continuing a trend in the daily RSI. These are things that I'm watching for and expecting. And what are we going to see on the 12-hour when that turns up? Well, the 12-hour is going to bottom out at this level and bounce off from here and give us these kind of trends that go on each time that we have the upsurge. Each time we have the upsurge, the 12-hour relative strength index builds its way up. So it would be actually pretty good if the 12-hour RSI came down to these levels and started giving us that kind of trend that we have seen in the past when we are going bullish, so that it pulls back and touches this trend line and starts to build its way up like that. Then we know that we're really on a bullish phase. If I go into the 4-hour, we can see this is already pulled back pretty deep. When we do top out, the 4-hour relative strength index shows us that it comes up to the overbought condition right at all of these tops. It really comes up to this overbought. Now we're up to this overbought and it's sort of topped out. It would be normal and good for it to pull all the way back here and give us a bottom and start to trend its way up as well, kind of like I was talking about with the 12-hour, so that we have the 4-hour giving us this trend on the way up. It would be pretty good if it was to come back and retest these support and resistance levels and give us a 1, 2, 3 formation while the RSI is setting us up like this. Those are things that I'm watching for. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be taking off. If it stops right here and the RSI starts to trend up as prices are continuing on to break above these levels, then we just got to go with it. I am holding a good amount of Bitcoin, so I'm good. If it goes up, that's fine. But I am watching for it to come back and give me this 1, 2, 3 formation where I can put on a leverage trade. And then when it comes back and retests this, I'll add on to that leverage trade. And again, head over to the website so you know that trading plan that I'm talking about. You can see all the details in it. When we go into the weekly on balance volume, this is pretty clear that we have declining volume every time that there's a top. And we've had a top now and declining volume all the way along it. So now I'm going to zoom in to see what the volume is doing in the shorter time frame. Declining volume you can see here, but now we've got declining selling going on. It's not selling as deep, not selling as deep, not selling as deep across each of these 3 different bottoms. We did have a swell of buying, but I am expecting a longer term swell of buying that it really outclasses what we've just seen here. And it would be okay if it pulled back and then we got a bunch more buying to go on. It would be okay if this pulled back, but we really need to see this extend its way for a while as we're breaking our way out of here, and that'll help me confirm that we are indeed taking off and breaking out. So I'm watching the volume on the shorter time frames. We can see that we had, here again, look, we got a top and declining volume. So this gives me the idea that it has the potential to be pulling back to these ranges. I've been watching for it all the way since this breakout. I've been wanting it to pull back and give me that consolidation. I've been wanting it to give me that consolidation. I'm still watching for it. There's nothing I can do in the trade here, especially as we're setting up and we're seeing the declining volume going on with it. Even in the 1 hour time frame, we can see volume, less volume on this higher high, right? And less volume on this higher high as well. So the volume came up, but not strong enough, not a really good breakout type of volume that we've seen before. So I am expecting that this is now making a 1, 2, 3 top formation, and breaking below that would be a sell level, especially since we are now underneath this and not breaking through it. That's retesting and failing. If we see some selling going on, I'd expect that to come back, and we'll be watching the RSI to tell us when that bottom is really valid. Here we are looking at the MACD indicator, and this is the weekly MACD. If we look at the weekly MACD in the past, then we can see that when it crossed negative, that was the top. That was it. And it took a long time for that MACD to cross back positive and really give us the trend to come out of there again. So that was from 2018 until 2020. And we could be in for this kind of long-term sideways action in the market. Absolutely. However, with that hammer reversal candle on the monthly time frame, I'm anticipating that we're going to see things happen. So when we're on the daily time frame for the MACD indicator, we can see that it's already crossed positive and more positive. So it's giving us a bullish divergence as the prices go sideways here. Let me put a straight line in. As these prices went sideways, we're seeing a bullish divergence. So zooming in on the 12-hour, we can see that the MACD is looking like it's crossing. It could be crossing negative. We do see that the histograms are easing off as we're coming up to that top. Let's go into the 4-hour time frame. We've already seen that the MACD has crossed negative and the histograms are into red, into a selling as we've come across this top. So it does look more like a top formation for me. If it is not, and we're going to continue, what it must happen is this 4-hour is going to cross back positive and these histograms are going to go back into the positive. But if we're going to be pulling back more, we're going to see this flaring wider and these histograms growing greater red. In the hour time frame, if we're going to take off, it's going to start here first. It'll show up in the hour, and then it'll show up in the 4-hour, and then in the 12-hour, and because the daily is already still positive. And the weekly, of course, is not yet positive. We're still not in the big bull trend according to the weekly. So again, could be a little bit more sideways for the next couple of months before we really take off. When we go into the Ichimoku Cloud weekly, this is where it needs to bounce off the cloud and take off. Now, we need this blue line to cross above the red, and then that'll confirm that the trend is continuing on. If we go into the daily, we can see that the blue has crossed above the red, part of the signal. We're twisting to the green, part of the signal, and the trailing indicator now needs to cut through the cloud. So we may get a bit of sideways so that we're getting into this thin cloud. It would be okay if it pulled back and touched against the cloud and then started taking off. All of those things are all good in the Ichimoku Cloud bull trend. In the 12-hour time frame, it has already crossed positive. The trailing indicator is nice and wide behind the prices. We've got a twist to the green. The one thing that is a bit nerve-wracking that makes me think it's pulling back is that the blue and the red are far apart. Generally, that's like an overbought and oversold indicator. When they're really far apart, they want to come back closer together. So this may consolidate a bit and then take off. Let's go look at the shorter time frame. On the 4-hour, the blue is coming closer to the red. The other day we were talking about how this was so far apart. Now they're coming back closer together. If this comes into the cloud area and then the blue line crosses back above the red, right? If the blue crosses below the red, prices come down here and it bounces out of the cloud, the blue will cross back above the red, and that'll give us our continuation buy signal. So we'll have the RSI that we know what to look for. We have the MACD, we know what to look for. We have the on-balance volume, we know what to look for. If it does pull back to where I'm wanting and then gives us that consolidation. We've got all these indicators that will back us up on what's going on in the market. Now let's finish off with the Bollinger Bands. In the weekly Bollinger Bands, we're not above the midline. So it's not in an uptrend yet, according to the Bollinger Bands. And the bands are really, really wide. They usually get skinnier just before a big breakout. They squeeze down and then we have the big breakout. So here, look at the Bollinger Bands squeeze right down and then we had the big breakout. So I'm not expecting a big move in the market right now. I'm expecting some sideways consolidation for this band to come back closer together on the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, it squeezed in pretty good, and we had some mean reversion trade signals. That is, the price is going outside this second band, the third standard deviation. It did it 3 times. So for me, this is 3 touches of death. It really means that there's something big coming up. Here, it just did it twice, and we had a pretty big move. So it could consolidate. It could just continue going from where we are now. If we zoom into the 12-hour time frame, although we had the mean reversions where it's sticking out almost to the third standard deviation, we had a sell mean reversion, which means that the price wants to revert to the mean. This is the mean, the median, the average of the price, that blue, the yellow line in the middle. So when we get the mean reversion, prices generally want to revert back to the mean before they continue to take off. So as this pulls back more, if it touches on that yellow line, the median for the 12-hour, and then makes a 1, 2, 3 formation, we see those other indicators all lining up. It's going to be a really great place to put on a long trade. On the 4-hour time frame, it's gone below the median, which is kind of bearish, and it's making a 1, 2, 3 top just after it made a mean reversion and it lost energy. And we know from the volume that it had less and less buying volume as it tried to go higher. So it ran out of steam here. We'll watch to see how that matches up to the 12-hour. Same with the 1-hour here. It's done a mean reversion of sticking out this side. It's kind of holding itself up though with this mean reversion on this side. So we'll have to watch because it's broken down below the median. It's widening, so it's gone through the narrow and then it's widening, which means that there's some energy in this. Once it narrows down and then bursts and goes wider, it's making a direction change. So I'm still, for all of these reasons, I'm expecting Bitcoin to come back to these ranges for us. So in review, we can see that the MACD indicator on the 4-hour time frame has crossed negative, and it's making a 1, 2, potential 3 formation. If it breaks down below there while the histograms are growing larger, that is a pretty good sell signal. But with the Ichimoku Cloud, as long as it stays above this cloud and then works its way back out of it, that's continuation of the uptrend. And we can see here on the 4-hour Bollinger Bands, it's gone a bit bearish. It's through the median and it's narrowing up so that there's going to be a pretty strong move. It can get narrower yet before we have the move. We'll have to see how that turns out. So that's my review of Bitcoin prices. I'm overall really crazy bullish, maddeningly crazy bullish, but in the very short term, I'm thinking we're gonna get that pullback. And if we do, I've identified exactly how we can know when the pullback is ready to jump back in onto the bull side, the longer term bull side that I'm really expecting. As usual, I am super stoked to have you guys along. I would request that if you like this, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you get notifications when I put out the next video. And most importantly, come and join our trading community. Come over to our Discord channel and join in with all of the guys who have already taken the free training. Many of them have taken the advanced training. Many of them are Bull Market Watch subscribers, and some of them are even our Pro Alerts subscribers, which I'll be firing back up again very shortly. I'll explain more about the Pro Alerts and what the difference is between the Bull Market Watch and the Pro Alerts. All of that is coming up. Lots of stuff in this channel. Phenomenal to have you guys along again. I am super excited to be back in the saddle, back in my office chair, back in front of all of my computer monitors. This is heaven for me. Thanks again. I'll talk to you on the next video.